Alright, these are your answers to the Getting Started problems. Notice I labeled it Getting Started at the top of my paper, and I put the page number, page 240, and I wrote the original problem. Okay, for multiplication, one rule is to change the mixed numbers to improper. So I'm going to change the mixed to improper. I go 11 times 7, not negative, just kind of ignore the negative. 11 times 7 is 77, plus 1 is 78. But it is negative 78 because it's a negative number, so I need a negative fraction, times, and on the other one I'm going to go 24 times 5. Now 24 times 5 is tough to do in my head, so you can use a calculator. 24 times 5 is 21. 24 times 5 is 120. Add 1, 121. And hopefully you have that on your paper. Okay, for multiplication, I do not need a common denominator. I just need to multiply straight across, top times top, and bottoms times bottom, but I don't want to do that yet. First, I want to factor. So I look first at 78. And 78 is even, so I know it can be divided by 2. So I'm going to write it as negative 1 times 2 times, and it's 39, because 39 times 2 gives me 78. Now I multiply that by, let's see, 121. I know 121 is 11 times 11. Underneath, I have an 11 times, and 24, I'm going to go 2 times 12. Okay, in a multiplication problem, I'm allowed to cancel, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 11 divided by 11 is 1. And I feel like I might be done, but I'm not. I can do better. Because in the top, 39 can be divided by 3. So here we go. I'm going to write, I still have negative 1. And 39 is 3 times 13. And if you need a calculator to figure that out, that's fine. Don't forget you still have the 11. And underneath for 12, I can break down 12, I can factor 12 into 3 times 4. Alright, I can cancel again. In a multiplication problem, you can cancel, and 3 over 3 is 1. I'm almost done. Across the top, I have a negative 1 times 13 times 11. So I can use a calculator for 13 times 11. Get negative 143 over 4. And that would be perfectly fine. If you want to change it to mixed, you just take 143, divide it by 4. That will go 35 times. Don't forget the negative. You know you still have 4 in the denominator. 4 times 35 is 140, so I need 3 more to get to 143. Alright, so there's problem number 1. Alright, here's problem 19. We're going to change these mixed numbers into improper fractions. So here we go. We're going to go 20 times 3 plus 3. 20 times 3 is 60, plus the 3 is 63 twentieths. Don't forget the negative. And on the other fraction, you're going to go 23 times 2, add 14. And 23 times 2 is 46. Add the 14 is 60. Don't forget that it's a negative number, so the fraction needs to be negative, and then just keep your denominator. Alright, I do not need a common denominator. I'm just going to go straight across, but before that I'm going to reduce. I'm going to factor right now. So 63, I know 3 can go into 63. So here we go. I'm going to have negative 1 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 21, because 3 times 21 is 63, times negative 60, so it's going to be negative 1 times, now for 60 I'll use 6 times 10. It's the first thing that pops into my head for 60. Underneath there's a 20. I'm going to go 2 times 10. And then multiplied by 23. Alright, I can cancel, I think. Yeah, there's a 10 here and a 10 there. That's 1. Those 10 divided by 10 is 1. And and I noticed there's a 6. 6 can be factored, it's even, can be factored divided by 2. So I'm going to do a little better here. Alright, I don't need to worry about the negatives. Look, a negative 1 times a negative times a negative is going to be a positive, so it takes care of that. So now I have a 3 times a 21 and 6. I'm going to write 2 times 3. Underneath I have a 2 times 23. That helps. I can cancel the 2's. 2 over 2 is 1. And I believe I'm going to get my final answer. 3 times 21 times 3. Again, a calculator would be helpful. 3 times 21 times 3, I believe, is 189. And then underneath I have a 23, which would be fine right there. I could change that. I could go 189 divided by 23. It goes 8 times. Keep the 23 in the denominator. 23 times 8 only gets you to 184. You need 5 more to get to 189. Okay, here's the third problem. It's number 25 on page 234. Just reminding you how to add, subtract fractions. So the way I do it is I still change them to improper. So 4 times 3 is 12. Add the 3 is 15 over 4, but don't forget it's negative. Plus, and on the other one, 8 times 10 is 80, plus 7 is 87. 8. Now I'm adding, so I do indeed need a common denominator. I'm going to use 8 for the denominator, so on this one I have to multiply by 2 on the bottom and on the top. Remember, whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. Negative 15 times 2 is negative 30. 4 times 2 is 8. Bring down the other fraction. And I can now add, or in this case subtract, because I'm losing 30. I'm losing 30 pieces and only gaining back 87. So I did win more than I lost. Let's see here. That gives me 57 eighths. You keep the denominator, 57 pieces, and they're the same size. They're eighths. If you want that to be back to mixed, you just take 57 divided by 8. That goes 7 times. Keep the 8. 8 times 7 gets you to 56. You need 1 more for 57. Alright, I hope this is helpful.